Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Prayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratize Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, so happily with our devotee family here, and I've been thinking about every one of you here all week, actually. Means Harini and your dear sister, Sara Shiromani, the devotees there in Salt Lake City. Been thinking of you, and we've got Kamala. Where did Kamala? Yes, Kamala's here on the screen. Kamala, I've been wondering how everything is going on. And I know Mohan was very enthusiastic for you to start some programs there on the East Coast. So happy to have you with us. Rupanuga Prabhu, Kalikadamba and Abhinava Sundar Prabhu. Yes, often thinking of you, and I heard that you were okay after the storm, but I heard that Yukai, the dam, got quite badly damaged. They had not only a storm, they had a hurricane come through Brisbane and that side. Pavan Krishna Prabhu, Dhanake, Ganga Leela. Then Sara Shiromani, she joined us. We mentioned your name and you joined us. So happy to have you with us. And Bimala Krishna Prabhu and Istadevika joined us. Happily, we're happy to see you coming. Istadevika, the space for her beside you, I think she'll join us presently. Cooking, evening meal maybe, looking after the children, many duties. My mother used to say, a woman's work is never done. So in devotional life, we also want to be like that we always have something to do. Jai Gauranga Prabhu in Australia, seated on the floor. Very good. And Gangalila, yes, I think I mentioned you, Gangalila, and Villa Govinda Ashram, Leelamoy Prabhu and Rasarati Devi Dasi. Here next door in the Prasadam room, a favorite room for lots of devotees. All right. And Srilekha just joined us. My goodness. Okay, I better stop greeting devotees. And I just got a second connection by the grace of Sara Chiromani. So I'm going to put on Facebook too, and probably Madhava Prabhu and others who may be with us on Facebook. I'll see in a moment. But a big welcome to you and a big welcome to everyone who's seeing the recorded version, which I know that the devotees do see. And it's the same as being live, except it's recorded. And that's the fact for Srila Guru Maharaj. That's the fact for Srila Gurudev. We sat with them live for many, many occasions. And it's not exactly the same, but it's a miracle of the modern age. It's very similar to being seated with them. When we see their recordings and we can catch the environment of Navadip Dham, the topmost Dham. All right, so dear devotees, it's back to basics. And we've been hearing so much about the holy name. We've been hearing so much about Sankirtan. And I mean, we often get the opportunity, but I'll just let you know that we are here fresh from the opportunity. Yesterday, of chanting Hari Nam Sankirtan to people who at least had interest in the East or something, because we had a good, large number of people came, again, paying to enter, not our program, but the program organized by others. And Orient Day Festival means Orient, East, the Eastern World Day Festival. And they pay to go in. It was in a large place which reminded me of Russia, actually. On the outside of a building, you can have quite a non-attractive building on the outside, and you go inside and you find, oh my goodness, it's all been set up and it's got decorations. You wouldn't guess you're inside basically a factory building or something like that. So they did very well. We had lots of people, means of many stalls and things, and everywhere was busy. And the area for kirtan, and then after that later, an area for conference, the conference corner. So yesterday, we had this opportunity, 1 hour of kirtan, then we had 1 hour where we didn't have an engagement, except at the preaching, the people reaching, and then 1 hour of conference. And so we've been here and in many places reading the glories of the holy name, and in the Golden Volcano of Divine Love, Mahaprabhu's Shikshastakam prayers. And we've been reading before that, earlier, about the glories of the holy name from different quarters, and that in our kirtans, chanting the name of Nitai and Gauranga. And so we had that opportunity to actually chant the names of Nitai and Gauranga and the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with lots of people listening, and some sitting, some coming, sitting, coming and going, a few staying all the way through. But it was a place where everyone could hear, because they have big loudspeakers, which when they're used in Krishna service can be good. When they're not used in Krishna service, can be bad, like everything. So anyhow, we were in this large place, and well, it was a well-organized program. We had theoretically the very best spot for our table, for our banners, for our preaching, for the books, and the presence of the devotees. Technically, it was the very best spot because it was right by the main stage, so everybody sees you. But in reality, it was so loud, it was very difficult to talk to the people so much. So they're going to see whether today, because it's a weekend festival, and today they're humbly asking to the organizers, thank you, you gave us the very best spot, everybody sees us, but we can't speak to anybody. How can we have a spot with the other, or not with the other, because others were in that area, but in a slightly quieter area where they can hear everything, but not right beside the loudspeaker. Anyway, reaching out, chanting Harinam to the public, and chanting the glories of the holy name to the public. And I think all the devotees were happy, and so many people, and people we meet from time to time in different places, coming and greeting us. People we met in Rome, and one lady was there. I think we were doing Sankirtan in Rome, and she joined us in Rome many years ago. Munindra said 15 years ago. There's this lady, she joined us just in the street in Harinam Sankirtan, and she was there at that festival. I said, oh, I know you. She came. So we never know who we meet, and it's good to be in the public eye. So back to basics, in the very beginning of our devotional life, then we were herded out with the devotees, because we weren't devotees, but still we're trying to be. We were herded out with the other aspiring devotees onto the street in Harinam Sankirtan. And those who know Ram Gopal Prabhu, one or two of you do, Srilekha knows Ram Gopal. Not sure who else. Abhinavasundar Prabhu does, maybe, by the smile on his face. Yes, okay, he knows Ram Gopal. He's a wonderful person, I mean, I have to say. He was a good friend, stayed with us in Navadip a lot. His brother was one of our teachers, like Bhakti Yoga. Yes, not Bhakta. Oh, yes, Bhakta Basics teacher. He was one of the teachers, his brother, and he could play the mridanga non-stop for like so long, and with blood coming from between the fingernails and the finger. And really, he was an enthusiastic kirtan leader, but of course we are completely new and we've come and we've got this person who's playing away on the mridanga and others who are singing. And it was a good introduction to Krishna consciousness, to break us away from everything we were used to in the ordinary world to this world of the Hare Krishnas. So anyway, in many ways, then coming to the temple meant for us a huge change in life. Hare Krishna. So yesterday evening, it was a day when we also remember our first times in the temple, and we see the public means, we see how much they need Krishna consciousness. And even though it's an esoteric festival, and they've got, I don't know how many stalls, there must be 60, 100, maybe not, but more than 50. Oh, must be more than 50. Oh, yes, or maybe 100. I'm just trying to do some mathematics of, how many on each row and how many rows, and then how many rooms. Maybe 100 stalls. And people are coming, and they could be doing other things, but they're coming to an Orient Day festival. And I also, and I was talking with Munindra, we're seeing the people say, what is motivating them to come here instead of doing anything of unlimited variety in the material world outside? But we also were at a bit of a loss, except the fact that there is some mystique about the East. Otherwise, why do they come to an Orient Day festival? And the stalls which are there, they are, astrology, palm reading, tarot cards, all kinds of esoteric kind of thing, gemstones, sound healing, massage, acupuncture, and of course, massage is Thai massage, Eastern massage, things like this. So there is this mystique in the East, but when we look at all of the stalls, basically, they were mainly about feeling good, about about us to feel good in the world, rather than what's the actual message of the East as far as being aware of who I am, learning who I am, what is my destination, and how to go. But there were interesting things there which fitted well into our discourse, our conference, our talk to the people, because we mentioned also about the holy name, why the holy name. We mentioned different things, and we mentioned also the tips of life, which, guess what, humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, and not wanting honor for oneself. And then more tips about be vegetarian, but not just vegetarian, offer your food. And the thing is, it was an interesting stall. There were, by the way, some quite interesting stalls. One of them was just near us, near where the conference was. And so just, we could see, and they're just on the right. They have a plant connected up to it with some electrodes or something. And I don't know, I mean, Kelly's smiling. Maybe you've seen these in festivals in Australia. I've never seen before. But it's connected up, and somehow with modern electronics, it detects the mood of the plant. And when you go, and it's a flowering plant with these two yellow flowers, and when you go to the plant and you stroke its leaves or its petals with a little affection, then it starts singing. And the sign says, hear this plant sing. And really, it responds to your touching the leaves. And I did try talking to it, but it was a bit noisy, but it responded to touching the leaves. So it was a good example right near our conference area to say that everything has life. And here you can see this, they got a singing plant. And the lady who looked after it, she was actually a good people reacher, but she did explain with it for her own kind of idea, showing these things. But she did explain that in the morning it sings a lot louder, a lot more energetically. She said it's actually, the plant is tired because so many people have been coming to make it sing today. So the plant was a bit tired by the time we got to it. But to show the personality of a plant. And so it was a good example to help us get the point across that everything's come from Krishna, all life is from Krishna, all matter is for Krishna. So what we eat has all come from life, unless any of you do eat mud, which I don't think you do. But they do make sweets, by the way, out of the mud of the Ganges. It's there, right there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't recommend you do this at home, but it's not impossible to actually make sweets out of mud. Anyway, generally speaking, whatever we eat, it has come from life. It hasn't come just from the mud. So anyway, just that's a little update. So trying to do something basic for the people at large, and a reminder to ourselves to do something good for ourselves. And there was a devotee there from another line, not another line. He was a disciple of Charu Swami, and Charu Swami came to Guru Maharaj. You can hear his voice on the tapes, very educated, presentable gentleman, leader within ISKCON. And he was a disciple of Charu Swami, but he admitted he'd not the best disciple, you might say. He admitted, over the course of time, he's slipped away, but such a nice person. And he ran a crepes stall, and he was very successful at selling crepes, but he was the happiest like vendor there. And I thought, oh, he's got a line of customers. Maybe they're good crepes, but he's like a character. He has happy character. So why not go to him instead of others who appear to be just there to get your money from you? So anyway, he insisted on giving us crepes before we left. Giving us, he wasn't being a salesman. He was very kind and got all this queue of people, and then he's giving us. We felt a bit self-conscious, but he insisted on giving us. So we took them to the car. We didn't take them there. But first of all, we offer ourselves. We've got to think, okay, whatever we get, we will offer. And I think it was on this back to basics, but Srilekha recently, could have been in one of her morning classes, because we do see them as well. Srilekha, she was saying, if somebody gives me something, or if I take a carrot, I think she said, if I take a carrot and just eat that carrot, what benefit will the carrot get by me eating it, by me, killing the plant and eating it? But if we, as agents of the Lord, if you like, if we offer that to Krishna because we can, then the plant will get benefit. So this way, even the crepes and things like that, it's a reminder for ourselves in the world. When you are outside and you're taking something outside, we should offer it first and then take, always, and not just think, oh, they're very kind, they've given to me something, but they're giving to us. Why? Because we've got some connection, we hope, with the Lord. Not we hope. There is connection with the Lord through Guru and his grace. And so still, we must not just, oh, such a good man, and take this, we accept it. But such a good man, we offer, and then take it. Anyway, back to basics, the basics of devotional life. We must not only know by theory, but actually more important is just to do it, to do the things we're meant to do. Take the medicine from the very best doctors ever. Take that medicine which they've prescribed, and we have to give up this tendency to analyze, oh, will this medicine do me good? What are the side effects? This. But take the medicine with the diet, with the exercise, have faith. Yes, we've got the real doctors of spiritual life, but doctor plus. Here we have in the devotee kitchen, which they bring out every lunchtime, there's a creation made by Munindra Mohan Prabhu, and we've got our witnesses here. Leela Moy, he's a witness, and I don't know whether Rasarati tasted or not. There's a creation made by Munindra Mohan Prabhu called Rajagun plus, and it looks like strawberry jam, but it is chili creation. So anyhow, it's not only Rajagun, it's like Rajagun plus, it's very strong. So anyhow, I was thinking of that because our masters have given us the medicine plus for our coming out from this material world, going to our destination. And it is all true. It's to Goloka Vrindavan, that wonderful place. By that connection, by that distribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming through our masters. So it is always good to remind ourselves of where we are, what we are doing, which is not only to tell others, but to remind ourselves what we've come in contact with, our lucky stars. So anyhow, this is my beginning to start us off. Hare Krishna. And many devotees helped at the stall, by the way. The devotees who living outside, and Chinmoy Prabhu, who lives right next door, then he was there all day in that environment. So they're there today too, yesterday and today. Hare Krishna. All right, I've been chatting away, and here we have Srilekha Devi Dasi live in Salt Lake City. And Srilekha Devi, you've been reaching the public and practicing. And it makes a difference. There are some very good of course, every purport, we're not here to judge. But Srila Prabhupada makes many good points in the purports, very topical points throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he makes many good points, and one we read some time ago, but he's saying that in the Western world, the public, they're abandoning the churches, they're abandoning the traditional religion because they see that they are not practicing what they preach. And even the preaching has become diluted. And so naturally, why will somebody go there? They're not attracted. And this probably was being written at the time when the Krishna consciousness movement was exploding around the world. In this exploding means, spreading very, very fast. But we must practice what we preach. It's not that, we'd go and give a talk or something and we don't do the program. So we must have a living life in order to share that with others. And Navadip Chaitanya Saraswati Math was a living temple. It wasn't a formality temple. It was a living temple. And the centers where that life continues are here in Villa Govinda and other places in the world. Then they are living ashrams, living temples, and living with substance, not with some made-up idea of how to meditate. And there are plenty of places with either made-up ideas or grasping just a part of what is the message of the Veda and doing that, thinking, oh, this is a good idea. So Srilekha, she's a practitioner and a people reacher. So kindly a few words to remind ourselves and some tips for us all, Srilekha Devi Dasi. Kindly.
Dhanyavad Maharaj. Dhanyavad everybody. Dhanyavad. Well, Maharaj, that's very encouraging. Lately I've been thinking about practicing life, because we really have to stay on our toes. It's not so it's easy to slide off the road, a little bit. And it's just easy to do that because of the environment is, in terms of consciousness, it's always trying to pull the practitioner devotee off the road. But we've been reading Upadesamrta, and it is, it's really, of course, we've read it so many times, but this time it's come in a really fresh way to me. And it keeps going through my mind at Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, and the depth of that. It's a very, very deep thing. And there are many, many layers of each one of those urges that we're always going to become aware of. The Vacho Vegam, that may not be that we're talking so much, but it may also be what we are, like the mental talking. What are we talking about in our mind all day long? What is interesting, like, you're hearing the same junk all over and over again. So I think it's just been really great. And then Manasa Vegam, like, what am I really thinking about? What do I want to engage my mind in? What is my goal? What is what I think is the most beautiful thing? What am I bowing down to? And, of course, Jiva Vegam. Guru Maharaj said Jiva Vegam means taking prasadam, but also not taking anything which is harmful for my health. Like not, because something tastes good, eating so much of it. But, all these, and then Atyahara Prayasa Cha and all those things, all these initial verses of the Upadesamrta are super, they're really important. And they can give us so much structure in our practicing life. And I really, really am appreciating it so much now. But we're really going on by grace. And I think that the more we keep trying to become devotees, the more we realize how much we're depending upon grace. And that's a really great thing. We want to have our own strength. I'm good, I'm strong, I can do this. Other people maybe can't do this, but I can do this. And, all this, right? And then, after a while, it's like, no, this is 100% mercy. And that's a sweet and wonderful thing. But anyway, Maharaj, by the grace of really, really great association, wonderful divine association, and please forgive me, but I want to say, like your good self, we're all being reminded of this extremely lofty goal of life. And every step that we take, we're finding it's all confirmed. It's not like you keep going and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. It's making more and more sense. It's more and more true. It's more broad. It's more encompassing. It's more profound. It's more sweet. It's more honest. I was hearing Srila Gurudev today. He was speaking about how it is very natural to love Krishna. And he said that after delivering Bhagavad Gita and explaining Bhagavad Gita in so many perfect ways, not leaving anything out, at the end he says to Arjuna, now do whatever you want. He's never taking our free will. But then Gurudev says, but if you are not attracted to what I'm saying, then clean your iron. Because Krishna is the magnetic center of all sweetness, all wonder. He is reality, the beautiful. If we are not attracted to him, it's because there's rust on the iron. He's like the magnet, and we have rust over the iron. He says, so do your job. Do your job of cleansing all of those things. And naturally, your heart, your healthy heart, will become attracted to Krishna. That's just normal. That's the normal relationship between iron and a magnet. And so, Maharaj, I don't know if I touched on the subject you wanted me to speak on, or...
Perfectly.
And he gave another analogy, if I can just add one more thing. In that same talk, Srila Gurudev was talking about homeopathy. And when a substance is being proved, or in other words, many very expert homeopaths are taking like a tincture, and he gives the example of pulsatilla, and they're all taking pulsatilla, and then they go into different rooms, and they write down the effect that this remedy is having on them. They write down those effects, and then they're not talking to each other or anything, and then they come back and they compare all the symptoms that they're experiencing. He said, and they, in pulsatilla, every one of them will say, there's something wrong with me, but I don't know what it is. Something is very bad, something is wrong, but I can't tell what's wrong, and crying. He said, and this is the essence of pulsatilla. So he said, when all the great sages were assembled on the bank of the Ganges and listening to what Sukadev Goswami is saying to King Parikshit, and Sukadev Goswami is saying, you've asked the perfect question. What is the most essential thing to think of? This is a very beautiful question. And I will tell you that Krishna consciousness, or love of Krishna, is the dharma of every jiva. And all the great Munis, and all those great, like, very famous personalities were there, and they're all saying, yes, this is true, it's true. He's saying it's like that proving of the homeopathy. If you really get to the bottom of it, and you really understand life, and you really have analyzed everything and where it goes to, what is the goal of each kind of thought that is available, each kind of action, and you really understand the whole thing, you must conclude that Krishna consciousness is the dharma of the jiva. So that's a nice analogy that
On a different subject, but well, saying Krishna conscious subject, but you're saying, oh, we heard this from Srila Gurudev just recently. You heard that on a tape, right?
Yes, I think it was yes, it was just an audio tape, right?
We've been listening here to Srila Gurudev. We listen to Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj, but we've been listening to Srila Guru Maharaj the last few mornings, and he gave another kind of very original but very sweet example about the material world, and how in the material world there are so many people who are like they think they're very important, and so many others who are giving honor and praise to those like supposedly very important people. And we've got Rasarati Devi Dasi here. Who were you in the morning class yesterday and the day before, or the day before yesterday rather, when Gurudev was saying about the camels and the donkeys?
Yeah.
Rasarati, you were there? Would you like to share the story with everybody that Gurudev gave?
Yes, he was speaking about this camel who invite a donkey to his wedding party.
Camel, yeah. The camel is inviting the donkey to his wedding party. The camel is going to get married. Okay, yes.
Yes. And, yeah, the camel was expressing his joy to have this donkey at his wedding, and invite him to sing something. And he did, and I don't remember the end of the story. Yeah, like they were appreciating each other, but there were really no. The donkey did not sing in really good, but the camel was
Praising the singing of the donkey.
yes.
And of course, remember, this is Srila Gurudev, and you all at least have seen a photograph of his face, his expression, and I expect you've all seen Gurudev telling funny stories, but for a purpose, and this is one of those stories. And he's saying that, so the donkey comes to the wedding and sees the camel, and he's praising the camel. Oh, how beautiful you are. And he actually, Gurudev says, and the donkey saying, how beautiful are your lips. And you know, in a camel, his lips are always like flopping about. Anyway, Gurudev is saying the donkey's praising the camel. Oh, you got such beautiful lips, such this, that, and the other. And here I am on your wedding day. And so the donkey's praising the camel. Then the donkey starts to sing, and Gurudev makes the sound of a donkey singing, which, if you all know what a donkey sounds like, right? You know, and Gurudev, like, very nicely making the sound of a donkey singing. And Gurudev singing like a donkey is very beautiful. However, the camel is then praising the singing of the donkey, even though clearly, like, out of all the animals, it's probably the least musical. And anyway, Srila Gurudev is using this example that in the material world, it is the praising and appreciating of those who have no proper essence or quality of what is the essence of life, what is the purpose of life, what is the necessity of life. Those who they just continue like blindly, but they are praising each other and giving mutual support. Oh, you are such a nice camel. Oh, you are such a good singing donkey, like this. And giving this example that, and saying, Gurudev said that, and he made the point that he said in Calcutta, I cannot say about the whole world, but he said in Calcutta, there are so many street names of atheists and of Mayavadis and of people who have no substantial value of life. But there are so many street names named after leaders around the world, the Ho Chi Minh Street and the Lenin Street, Lenin Sharani, and so many things, where there's no theism is there at all. But he said, but there is no street for Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He said, and what Srila Prabhupada did was so glorious, but no street named after him. But the public are very happy, the authorities are very happy to name streets after those who are atheists, who don't have any beautiful qualities of devotion to the Lord and to guide people to the Lord. So from there, Srila Prabhupada thinking like this, and then he gave how the glorification of each other in the material world. He says, I think the material world is like that. The donkeys and the camels. So, yes, when we hear Srila Prabhupada, when we hear Srila Guru Maharaj, when we hear Srila Gurudev, we get so many practical analogies to help us understand the quality of the material world we're in and the quality of the world that Mahaprabhu is guiding us to go to through the chanting of the holy name. So let me just see, in the meeting chat, Nirupama, she's back in the Ukraine and doing lots of seva. We're very happy to see and to hear. So Dandavat to all tutti devotee. That means all of you. If I may ask a question, in Heart and Halo of Srila Sridhar Maharaj is in part 2. This shloka says that faith appears first, then communication with devotees, etc. I don't quite understand, because first I met devotees who inspired me to believe, gave me some understanding. We sing every day, Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya, Deho Krishna, etc. I pray, give me at least a drop of faith. So then Nirupama asks, how can I understand this? And then she's put the excerpt. Oh, so it's a quote from Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Adda Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangota Bhajana Kriya Tato Anatta. So Tato Anatta Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistata. So this is the steps. The book is called, is it Golden Staircase? No, Heart and Halo. Okay, Heart and Halo. But it's still the similar idea. It's giving us the steps of our journey. And so, yes, one candle must be lit by another candle. It cannot just light by itself. And so the faith, the recognition, everything, then this is coming by the grace of those who have it. But then we may get something from the devotees, so we are getting some faith. But that faith, by the qualification of us getting that faith, brings us to actually associate with devotees and come to have association. And association means we come to serve, we come to give, we come to reveal our heart, we come to inquire sincerely. And so association is a living, active, giving bhakti yoga process. And in the beginning, yes, we do get faith from the devotee. And it is by their grace that we have faith in Krishna consciousness. But that faith leads us into the association of the devotees. So it's a little bit like the dynamo producing electricity and then powering itself, if you like. But Srila Gurudev explains that by our proper practice, by our sincerity, we will be brought into higher association. And so from nowhere, we've got some faith, but that has brought us into the actual association of devotees, rather than, yes, I have faith in God and that's enough. We then get to have faith not only in the Lord, but in his devotees and in wanting to serve them. So hence that it's almost like a wheel. We need the devotees to be first given that faith, but with faith, then we come to the association of devotees, by serving whom then our attachment increases. We become constant, and then we come to the upper world, the land where constancy in devotional service is the very life of every single living entity. in Goloka Vrindavan. So in the beginning there's faith, then association with devotees. Not just, oh, I've heard, now I've got faith, but now, yes, I need the association. I need to be with those who are serious on the path. And Krishna brings us to their association. He sees everything that we desire. He sees all our cheating ourselves tendency, but he sees all of our proper decisions of not cheating ourselves and wanting reality tendency. That now we have faith in that goal, and he brings us into the association of those devotees. Then engaging in service, and service inevitably comes through the devotees. So through association of devotees, we are engaging in service. This is cleaning ourselves, as Srilekha was saying, that our iron should be automatically attracted by the magnet, but it's got these coverings of rust and all sorts of things over it. So we need to clean ourselves, purging of faults, then attainment of steadiness, nishtha, that we're not going to go into that dirty world again. We are clear, we know where we're going to stay firmly on the path, within the rails, within the fence on each side. I'm going to stay in the fence and not try to jump over the fence to enjoy what's on the outside there. So then we get spiritual taste, actual proper spiritual taste. And then firm attachment, transcendental emotion, which is not like mundane emotion. And then Krishna Prema, the love of God. These are the steps.
Maharaj, could I add something?
Sure, please do so.
Something? But I also wondered about that before, and I heard Srila Guru Maharaj talking about Agyata Sukriti and Gyata Sukriti, and that really helped me a lot, because Guru Maharaj said that Agyata Sukriti is like when a man is unconscious, and the doctor is coming and giving him some help, but he doesn't know that's happening, but some help is coming. And then later, when he becomes a little conscious, he begins to participate in his own recovery. But that Agyata Sukriti means some sadhu, some Vaishnava has given some help to us somewhere along the line, and we didn't even know it was happening. So that kind of is the birthplace of faith. Like it begins, it's like the sprout or the seed of faith is being given, and we didn't even know it was happening. But somehow or other that accumulates, and then we come to the point where we are beginning to search, and then we become to the Vaishnavas association and seek that association. I think that was very helpful to me to understand, where is that seed of faith beginning from? I mean, of course, it's the nature of the soul, but anyway, I don't know if that was helpful, but.
Yes, indeed. And another thing is that, okay, Nirupama, you met a devotee, they explained something which gave you that faith. And for many of us, for myself, I read the book by the devotee, means by Srila Prabhupada. That book woke up that faith. And so either way, we're hearing something which is giving us faith in the devotee. But then we want to be with those devotees. We want to learn from them and lead the life that they are leading as they have been guided. And so from just having some faith comes the actual interaction with the devotees. And similarly, in this way, prasadam can give us agyata sukriti, when you can just let your friend and somebody know, this is sanctified food. It is good for you. You don't have to understand why. Take this. And with some honor, with some respect, they will take that prasadam. then in the future, this is all waiting to come in the form of being introduced to the Vaishnavas, because it is the Vaishnavas who are our real wealth to come home. So the association of devotees, it is more than just to hear from them, but it is to come to engage in the 6 loving practices. Hare Krishna. So it's all interrelated. And then from Agya to Sukriti, then consciously, so unconsciously somehow out of the blue, we've come to have faith in Krishna consciousness. Then the Lord is bringing us to his devotees so that we can consciously do things which are favorable. Jai, good. We are pleased to hear your question. And if any of you, I mean, we do get questions when we read through, and also we do happily have a whole section of questions where we know the question comes up, but really we just accept happily. We just accept many things. And as we were saying about medicine, we don't have to analyze all the medicine. We take the medicine. If we've got faith in the doctor, we've been introduced to a good doctor, Vijay Raman Prabhu and Rishikesh Maharaj and others. They're so much enthusiastic about a doctor when we were in Sochi in Russia. Say, you've got to come to this doctor just for a checkup. They're the best doctor in the world. We've been to every doctor in the world. And so they are giving some certificate for a doctor or somebody who they know this doctor is a real doctor. They're not a commercial doctor. They know their stuff, and they've done so much good for us. So, come to this doctor. So this is something like when we are coming to the Vaishnavas, coming to the Guru, coming to Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, coming to Srila Saraswati Thakur, that we're being recommended. Look, here is the doctor. Here is what is good. And now take their medicine happily. You don't have to know everything about it, but you've come and here you are. Here's the medicine. Here's the diet. Here's the exercise. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And by the way, on Facebook, we're very happy to have Madhu Krishna Prabhu with us. We're happy to have Madhava Prabhu with us, and Mathura Basini and other devotees who I can't see unless there's an actual comment from them. But Madhu Krishna was giving some praise for prasadam there. So indeed, prasadam, as Gurudev said, if we can honor prasadam, if we can actually take prasadam and not as an excuse to enjoy myself, then we've practically conquered the whole. Is what Gurudev told about prasadam. Means conquered the whole of this material world. And we do chant before each meal, Sarira avidya jal, jodindriya ta hekal, jive file visaya sagare, tamadye jibayati, lobamoy sudurmati, takajita katina samsare, Krishna baradoyamoy, karivare jiva joy, swaprashad anna dilabai, Sain amrita pao, Radha Krishna gunagam, premedako chaitanya nitai. And you are all old enough in Krishna consciousness to know what that means. And if you're having a little bit of a conscience, a guilty conscience, and you have some homework to do, look and see word for word. It must be on the Veda base in word for word, and I also have it in word for word. In fact, we're on now back to basics number 510 or something. Well, back on maybe number 10 back to basics. We went through this word by word. So there is some place for the old back to basics talks that we did. And we did kind of go through a little systematically for some of these things, which we must revisit. I don't necessarily mean you go and listen to that exact, back to basics, but these topics of what is so important in our lives, like Upadesamrita, constantly we must be aware and not only revisit, but somehow etch into our nature what Rupa Goswami is given as the mouthpiece of Mahaprabhu in the Upadesamrta. 11 verses, of which those first 8 verses are all telling us how to think, how to behave, what to do. So anyhow, I could find word for word, maybe I'll ask someone to speak. Oh, look at the time, my goodness. What happens? What happens when we come together? The time is going very fast. Hare Krishna. Yes, so dear devotees, Abhinavasundara and Kalikaramba, we don't always see you here, not to say we should, we don't want to say, why you haven't been here, but we're very happy, rather we're saying we're very happy to see you here now. And now you're out for a walk in Krishna's nature. It's all so beautiful, and Krishna is the best artist. Let's just see. Can we ask you to make a contribution this week? How are you seeing Krishna while you are walking in Australia?
Well, he's everywhere, even in the cars that are going past us, Maharaj. But not exactly in nature. Nature-ish.
But you can say something about Ramanathan.
Well, no. I mean, one thing that I thought it was nice was what Srilekha was talking about the Bhagavad, when she was talking about the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna saying to Arjuna, yeah, well, I've told you all this and now you can do what you like. But we were reading just this morning from Religion of the Heart, and it's just so sweet when Arjuna and Duryodhana went to see Krishna before the battle of Kurukshetra, and when Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Arjuna first. So he said, what do you want? What are you doing here? And Arjuna, and then he sees Duryodhana as well. But so Arjuna replies first and says, I want you. And Krishna's saying, no, I'm not going to fight. And then Arjuna is just like, I don't care. I just want you. And then Duryodhana gets all of the armies of Krishna, and Duryodhana's very happy. He thinks, okay, Krishna's not fighting out. I've got all of his army. And but just the sweetness with which Arjuna then asks to Krishna, I have one thing that I'm asking of you is, will you be my charioteer? And it's just so, just so beautiful, that relationship, that affection, that Arjuna doesn't care about anything. He can fight with the whole world, but he just wants Krishna to be by his side, and that the relationship is so intimate that he can ask Krishna to be a charioteer, because it's not a very prestigious position to be a charioteer, but Arjuna is, shamelessly asking Krishna, will you be my charioteer? Anyway, we just found that was just sort of so heart-meltingly sweet, the affectionate relationship between them. Anyway, that's just something that came this morning.
And has come all over the world by your grace. It is very sweet. And add to that in India, then the driver is considered like a low job. If you would like an example of that, then when Srila Gurudev came to the West, some of you know quite famously, Gurudev is seeing, and he wasn't in Australia, he was in America. But anyway, he was in the Western world, the non-Indian world. And Gurudev said that, I see that everybody in the West, they are woman hunters, drunkards, and drivers. He put them all in the same category. So this is the kind of view of the driver in India, in the East. Then that's not a very prestigious job to have. The driver, just you do what you're told, get on with it, kind of thing. As everybody is very proud to drive their fancy cars, then this is Gurudev's opinion. And about a fancy car, Kumkum, who's here with us, her husband, Rishabh Dev Prabhu, he bought a sports car one time, and Gurudev saw that sports car, and Gurudev saw he was not impressed. He said, this is a miser man's car. It has only one seat. I mean, with the driver and one seat, you can't even take your friends in the car. So, but of course, this is Gurudev's affectionate comment to Rishabh Dev Prabhu, who was also an affectionate devotee. And we hear that happily from Rishabh Dev Prabhu himself. Now he's passed away from the world. But these are also some beautiful interactions between the master and the servant. Krishna and Arjuna had beautiful interactions. Gurudev with the devotees had beautiful interactions. And Bhima, Krishna Prabhu, or Ishtadevika, one of them put up their hand just now.
Dandava Maharaj. I just wanted to add to Abhinava's story with one thing I remembered hearing was that when they both went to Krishna, Arjuna was at Krishna's feet and Duryodhana was standing up near his head. And that was showing that Arjuna was showing more respect by being at Krishna's feet. But that just something that stood out to me. And also just, I know it's the ending of the class. I just wanted to say that just like the plant that got to go and you touched this plant, we're all also receiving your mercy and we're all just happy to be here. And that plant definitely will receive some sukriti in its next life by your grace, Maharaj. So my Dandava.
Hare Krishna. It looked like a happy plant, by the way. I don't know what the name of the plant is. It's yellow, but it's quite big leaves that go around. And anyway, it looked like a happy plant, but when the lady said, actually, the plant is tired now, then it also added something very sweet about the nature of the plants. Hare Krishna. Acha, well, I have to say, or not have to say, but happily say that we're seeing all of you devotees, seeing your names. And in the case of Priya Sundari Devi Dasi's phone, that's showing us Ram Sundar Prabhu, Keshavananda Prabhu, and Priya Sundari humbly sitting in the back seat. And the driver is Ram Sundar. Is that right? You are the charioteer, Ram Sundar? Just see. But Ram Sundar probably knows in Thailand, believe it or not, monks are not meant to drive. I was told this as I volunteered to drive. The monks are not meant to drive. In fact, the monks are meant to walk everywhere, barefoot, Ram Sundar Prabhu. I'm talking to myself here too. Madhusudan, monks in Thailand are meant to walk barefoot. Hare Krishna. All right, so dear devotees, Jai Dev Prabhu, the devotees who joined us in due course of time. Yes, a contribution from Kalikadamba Devi Dasi, maybe.
Oh, Marge, sorry. I was just going to say, because here it's Ram Navami today. And because we were like, oh, we're not mentioning it. But then Abhi was saying, like, no, it's not there for anyone today. It's only here. So it's on our minds that it's his appearance day. And just that one thing about, what's his name? Vibhishan, who the brother of Ravana, when he came to take shelter of Lord Ramachandra's lotus feet, and Hanumanji was saying, no, don't give him your shelter. We can't trust him. Maybe he's a spy. And then Lord Ramachandra then makes a vow in front of everybody and says, if anyone will once surrender to me, once only, I will take, how does he describe it? I will take charge of them, and I will say, but anyway, for all time to come.
Make them fearless. Make them fearless for all time to come.
For all time to come, from just one time. That's his vow. And it's his appearance day today. So we're thinking of that today.
And thank you very much, because really we'll be amiss if we don't give a reminder and honor that it is Ramchandra's appearance day. And you're on the far east, Oriental, we were at the Oriental Day Festival. You're the far east in Australia. And a very good reminder. And Srila Gurudev, like in a very summary, because we are over time, he says the whole purpose of Ramachandra's Leela is to show the beauty, the speciality of service to the Lord. We must put the Lord at the center. And that Hanuman, he is that pure servitor, and his glorious life and glorious everything. The whole purpose of the Leela, of Ramachandra's appearance, is showing the glories of Hanuman, his servant, his servitor. So let us all take this example. Let us put the Lord at the center automatically. In the beginning, we have to sort of train our mind to, to think of Krishna, Krishna-centered things, the Lord-centered things, rather than the material-centered things. But Hanuman doesn't have to make a decision, or will I go to the cinema, or will I do some service for Hanuman? But he's in the automatic position. There may be a million cinemas around him, but Hanuman, he's just there with the focus on his loving master, Ramchandra. So, dear devotees, be a devotee, continue being a devotee, work at remaining a devotee, and share the good things with others. Whatever we know that is good, share it with others. All right, safe driving in Thailand, safe driving everywhere, all you charioteers, however wonderful is your chariot. And remember Krishna, the original charioteer. Jai Shri Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, and Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, our whole Rupanuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai, and Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Sri Upadesamrita ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. And let's say today, Jai Sri Ramayan ki Jai. I don't know how many verses is Ramayan, but it's a large book. Somebody knows how many verses. I know, Google knows. I know, who knows, Google. Please, treat Google only as much as is needed. Don't take for granted that everything is right on Google, especially in spiritual terms. Hare Krishna. As we had to point out yesterday, because honestly, if you look, don't do it, it's not necessary just for our inquisitiveness, but if you do look up Bhakti Yoga on Google, I'm sorry to say you're going to be in a jungle of what is Bhakti Yoga. And yesterday our theme was on Bhakti Yoga, the yoga you can do 24 hours a day. That was in Italian, or Italian equivalent, the theme. So anyway, Google can help us with some things, but don't be too trusting what it says is the right, is correct. All right, dear devotees, have a successful few days. Let us meet you again soon on Facebook, on Zoom, the recorded version. My obeisances to you all. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Jai Shri Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. All right, and Krishnananda Prabhu is there with Srilekha Devi Dasi too, Dandavats Prabhu. And Radha Sundari did join us presently. Yes, Radha Sundari is here. Muktinath Prabhu is here. We appreciate the presence of you all. And I think we did mention one by one the devotees earlier who were with us. So with appreciation, all good wishes. Ami Ashchi. I'm coming, as the Bengalis say, instead of I'm going. Enthusiastic Srilekha. And what's the first And the symptom, the first good thing is enthusiasm. Then confidence, then patience, but enthusiasm is listed first. Hare Krishna. Amiyashi.
Oh.